everyone. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome to the 12th Annual Korean Showcase hosted by Cornell's Korean Language Program. My name is Chris, and I'm going to be your MC tonight. To begin the lineup of all the amazing talents to be seen tonight, Cornell's Korean percussion group Shimta will start off the festival with a rousing display of traditional Korean music. Please sit back, relax, and feel their rhythms in your heart as their music takes us on a journey. Thank you, Shinta, for that passionate performance. 잘했어요. For those of you who just joined, hello again, everyone. 안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome to the 12th Annual Korean Showcase hosted by Cornell's Korean Language Program. My name is Chris, and I'm going to be your MC tonight. It's such an honor to be here tonight to show you guys all the hard work and creative talents the students from all levels of the KLP accumulated this past year. On behalf of the KLP, I would like to extend much gratitude to the Joe Foundation for their continuous support. This event has become a celebrated tradition, and it wouldn't have been possible without the help of the foundation and all the students, staff, and teachers who made it happen. We have a very full and exciting schedule coming up, and who knows, you might even pick up a few Korean words by the end of it. 재밌지요? Fun, right? Throughout this event, please feel free to leave comments in the chat and personalize your time here celebrating the KLP with us today. With that being said, we will now move on to congratulating the KLP teachers and students. Huge thank you to Song Sensengnim and Kim Sensengnim for teaching Korean to all the students this semester. We learned so much, and we will definitely put our Korean skills to use. Of course, they couldn't have done it without the help of our lovely TAs, Kwon Sensengnim and Hwang Sensengnim. Let's make some noise for all the Sensengnims. Next, we'll be showing all of the wonderful and hardworking students who took Korean this semester, myself included. Here are the students from Korea 1102, Elementary Korean. Here's Section 201, Section 202, and Section 203. Next, we have the students from Korea 1110, the Heritage Elementary Korean class. Now are the students from Korea 2202, Intermediate Korean. Next up are the students from Korea 1210, the Heritage Intermediate Korean class. Next are the students from Korea 3302, High Intermediate Korean. Last but not least are the students from Korea 4402, Advanced Korean. Congratulations to all of these students for studying Korean so diligently this semester. Our hard work paid off, and I can't wait to see our Korean skills in action. Since 2011, we've had a list of students on the Wall of Fame who have learned 3 years of Korean or more during their time at Cornell. It is these students who went on to receive an achievement award for having completed 3 years. Students who took all 4 years of Korean received the Distinguished Achievement Award. It is so great to hear how much can be learned and retained during that time. But don't take my word for it. Instead, please join me in welcoming this year's recipients of the Achievement Award and a $50 Amazon gift card. Kemi Adelaware. Mona Zimeng Lee. Jordan Tyler Page Miller. And Tiamen Montgomery. I would now like to invite Song Sensengnim to give some words to the students.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, and welcome everyone. I'm Mi-jung Song, coordinator of the Korean language program at Cornell, and I am pleased to present our wonderful students for the great achievements that they've made. I still remember the first day when they stepped into my elementary Korean 3 to 4 years ago and showed great progress over a year. Now they make me even more proud seeing their tremendous growth after taking Korean for another 2 years with Kim Sensengnim. In our family-like program, these students have been role models to other students and became the ambassadors of the Korean language and culture that I deeply appreciate. The Korean language program at Cornell has grown a lot thanks to students like them who inspire other students to build up lifelong friendships within the program. Without further ado, please allow me to read and give the awards to them. On behalf of the Korean Language Program in the Department of Asian Studies with support from the Jo Foundation, Kemi Adewalor, Mona Jimon Lee, Jordan Tyler Page Miller, and Tiame Montgomery are presented with this award in acknowledgement of 3 years of hard work, dedication, and love of learning the Korean language, signed by the department chair, Anne Blackburn, the lecturer, Han-gyul Kim, and the senior lecturer, Mi-jung Song. Congratulations to all.
Congratulations again to all of you for having completed 3 years of Korean. They will now share a few words about their time in the KLP program, what motivated them to continue their studies, and what they plan to do next with their acquired language skills. Would you like to start us off, Kemi?
Yeah, first, thank you for the slide. It looks really nice. But I think, you know, when I kind of started, I felt really nervous only because it was like my first, you know, kind of language class here at Cornell. But I think I was really grateful for the foundation that Sung Sung Sing Nim has helped me build, especially in this language and kind of just focusing on that structure. I was really grateful for that. And, you know, meeting and being able to learn Korean with my classmates, some who, you know, have kind of got here to this level with me as well. So I think personally, thanks guys, the chat. So I think personally, it's been a long journey, but I really am grateful for it, especially with Kim Sung Sing Nim just helping me to improve and just further build on this. So I was really grateful. Shout out to my Korean class, shout out to all my classmates, hyping me up in the chat. And I definitely would say that if you are contemplating whether to continue in this language, I would say do it. Do it with your whole heart. It gets really fun. I think you get to, you know, kind of expand on it and be able to use the language in many creative ways. So I would say if you're feeling nervous or if you're feeling hesitant about it, definitely do it. The Sung Sing names are really nice, and they also, you know, really drill in this language into you. And so to Kim Sung Sing Nim and Sung Sung Sing Nim, I would like to say 한국어를 가르쳐 주셔서 감사합니다.
That was amazing, Kemi. Now we'll hear a few words from Mona.
Yeah, hi, hello everyone. I'm really honored to receive this award, which is not what I expected because I skipped a year in this journey of learning Korean, but Korean is actually the first class I ever taken at Cornell and also the last class. So to some extent, it has been there for me throughout this entire journey of my undergraduate career. And partly it's also the reason why I've taken up a second major in comparative literature, because in complet we have this thing that we have this saying that the border or like the boundary of your world is basically languages. So I'm really glad that by learning these new languages, I really be able to expand my world a little bit and also to explore new things and meeting new people. And like Akemi said, I really do encourage you to stay in the program because I really, the reward you get is definitely going to be larger and more fulfilling than you expected. So yeah, that's all from me. And 마지막으로 저는 제가 통기하고 송 선생님, kin 선생님한테 너무너무 감사하고 네, 사랑합니다.
Thanks for the amazing words, Mona. How about you, JT?
Hi guys, I echo the words of my classmates. As you can see from my photo, I got into the Korean language program mainly due to my love of BTS and K-pop. And they took someone with very little knowledge of Korean language and Korean culture, and they kept me in here for 3 years. And I just want to give so much thanks to the teachers and the TAs that were so supportive and so kind. And I just want to say that this Korean language program, it's just not at Cornell. This has brought me to Canada, where I got to do a Korean speech contest just after 1 year of learning Korean. And with Song Sung Sing Nim, I got to go all the way to Korea and study at Hanyang University. There's just so many opportunities through this program itself, and it really becomes a family. You have a great family in elementary level, and it's just going to grow as you go on. So I just recommend getting in there, diving in. It might seem hard at first. It's a lot of hard work, but it is so worth it. And going off of the other question, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Korean language skills now that I'm graduating, but I know I can communicate with so many of my friends so much better now, and I'm so appreciative of it. And I'm just so thankful. 캠 선생님하고 성 선생님한테 가르쳐 주셔서 너무너무 감사합니다. 그리고 우리 한국어 반 친구들한테 많이 보고 싶을 거예요. I'm gonna miss you guys so much. Love you guys.
Thanks for the great words, JT. I also decided to take Korean because I like K-pop so much. Last but not least, we have TMN.
Oh my gosh, being last, everyone said what I wanted to say. But I really enjoyed the Korean language program. It has brought upon so many opportunities for me. I wouldn't have gone to Hanyang either after completing 1 year of Korean. And I absolutely fell in love with Korea. I want to go back so badly. I also won, I can't remember. I think I won 3rd place at one of the Norebang contests a couple years ago. So that was very important to me because I'm very shy singing in front of people, and that just helped me boost my confidence a lot. So I'm very thankful for this program. For classes, it doesn't even feel like a class. It feels like I'm having, like, you just have so much fun in the classroom that the time just goes by so quickly that you don't even know. It's like, oh, Korean class is over? Like, so I'm very grateful for this program. And in terms of the future, I don't know what I want to do. Hopefully watch a lot more K-dramas and build up my vocabulary, and maybe work in like international relations so I would be able to utilize this language. But 선 선생님, 김 선생님 많이 보고 싶을 거예요. 감사합니다.
We can't wait to see what you'll all do in the future. With that being said, thank you for all of your words, all very exciting plans. I hope going forward, even more students like you guys will be motivated to take Korean for 3 or more years and also receive such an award. Please give them another round of applause. For the remainder of the evening, representatives from each Korean class will present their respective final projects of the semester. Through their various demonstrations, we will be able to get a glimpse of the level of Korean proficiency taught at each class level. I hope that the presentations will excite you about Korean culture and inspire you to take Korean classes in the near future. Please feel free to use the chat to give comments, questions, or encouragement while enjoying their presentation. Starting off our showcase tonight will be a skit created by Catherine Choi, Zoe Kim, Sophia Zhang, and Tammy Zhang from our elementary Korean class, titled Zoom If You'd Like. Please give a round of applause as we begin the skit.
안녕하세요. 지금 한국어 수업에 가지요? 같이 갈래요?
안녕하세요, 재영 씨. 네, 좋아요. 참, 점심은 어땠어요? 소형 씨랑 같이 먹었죠? 매일 점심시간을 기다리겠어요.
네, 좋았어요. 저는 서연 씨를 정말 좋아해요. 그래서 내일도 점심을 같이 먹을 거예요.
이 새 애플을 들어봤어요? 좋아하는 사람이 10m 안에 있으면 앱이 울릴 거예요.
정말요? 서연 씨한테도 이 앱을 다운로드를 하라고 말할게요. 그리고 우리 둘 다 해볼게요.
어머, 세상에. 이 새 코로나 바이러스 때문에 수업이 취소될 거예요. 어떻게 해야 돼요?
부모님께 먼저 통화해야 돼요. 세상에 어떡해요. 너무 무서워요.
어떻게 살아가지? 저는 재현 씨는 정말 좋아하는데 언제 볼 수 있지? 얼마나 기다려야 돼? 내 컴퓨터도 자주 고전하고 내 전화도 잘 안 쓰는데 운전하면 15시간이나 걸리는데 비행기도 못 타는데 전화해야겠다.
여보세요? 네, 전데요. 누구세요?
네, 안녕하세요, 재영 씨. 서현이에요.
아, 서연 씨. 네, 어떻게 지내요?
괜찮게 지내지만 조금 무서워요. 그런데 지금 가족하고 시간이 많이 있어서 굉장히 편해요. 지금 상황이 정말 이상하죠?
네, 맞아요. 그런데 저도 가족하고 같이 있어서 너무 행복해요. 이 팬데믹은 언제까지 갈까요? 그런데 서연 씨, 무슨 말을 하고 싶었어요?
네. 저는 재현 씨를 생각하고 있었는데.
재영아, 과일 먹어. 맛있게 먹어야 돼. 알았어? 내일 시험이 있지. 열심히 공부해야 돼.
감사합니다, 어머니. 그런데 지금 저는 전화를 하고 있으니까 좀 제 방에서 나가주세요.
미안.
죄송해요, 소연 씨. 무슨 말 하고 싶었어요?
괜찮아요, 재현 씨. 저는 재현 씨를 생각하고 있었는데.
재영아, 줌 좀 도와줄래? 언미트는 어떻게 하지? 다 했는데 줌을 다시 열었고 컴퓨터도 다시 열었고 카메라도 다시 샀고 새로운 모뎀도 다시 샀고 새로운 헤드폰도 다시 샀고.
이게 뭐야?
안녕하세요, 여러분. 다시 만나서 반가워요. 오늘은 고 이따이님을 배우겠습니다. 반 친구들하고 인사해주세요. 방을 만들게요.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 소현인데요.
안녕하세요. 제 이름은 예진이에요. 만나서 반가워요. 우리 시작해볼까요?
좋아요. 예진 씨, 어떤 사람을 좋아하세요?
글쎄요. 저는 무서운 영화를 좋아하고 예쁘고 착한 사람을 좋아해요.
그래요? 저도 무서운 영화를 너무 좋아해요. 그런데 저는 친절한 사람이 좋아요. 예진 씨는 정말 친절한 사람이네요.
감사합니다. 이 대화가 너무 재미있어요.
네, 맞아요. 그런데 예진 씨, 내일 시간이 있어요? 같이 커피를 마실래요?
좋아요. 점심도 같이 먹고 싶어요. 서연 씨의 전화번호가 뭐예요?
134 780 3009예요. 예진 씨는요?
443 562 6766이에요. 그게 서현 씨의 진짜 전화번호예요?
네, 진짜 전화번호예요. 그럼 수업 끝나고 전화할까요? 저는 예진 씨랑 또 말하고 싶어요. 화요일 밤에 시간이 있어요?
좋아요. 그럼 화요일 밤에 봐요.
시간이 아주 빠르지요. 벌써 6달 동안 못 만나서 캠퍼스에 많이 가고 싶어요.
네, 저도 그래요. 그리고 서연 씨를 너무 보고 싶어요.
참, 요즘 수형 씨하고 사이가 어때요? 같이 줌 안 했어요?
우리 가끔 좀 하는데 인터넷도 잘 안 되고 부모님께서도 자주 돌아오셨어. 많이 이야기할 수 없었어요.
안 됐네요. 그런데 아직도 수형 씨를 아주 좋아하지요.
네, 정말 좋아요. 근데 여친 처음 걱정이에요.
왜 걱정해요?
여친 서연 씨가 저한테 연락을 잘 안 해요.
괜찮아요. 서향 씨는 아마 바쁠 거예요.
글쎄요. 그냥 좀 이상해요. 그리고 앱도 못 썼는데요.
무슨 앱이요? 그 앱이요? 옆에 좋아하는 사람이 있으면 우리는 앱? 이게 뭐예요? 어머, 재영 씨, 학교에서 온 이메일이네요. 지금 코로나 바이러스가 별로 없어서 다음 주에 캠퍼스에 갈 수 있어요.
진짜요?
네, 진짜요. 와, 행복해요. 재영 씨, 다음 주에 서향 씨를 볼 수 있고 앱도 써볼 수 있어요. 둘이 사이가 아주 좋아서 앱이 확실히 우릴 거예요.
다행이다. 그럼 서연 씨를 만나고 앱을 써 볼게요. 서연 씨가 저기 있네요. 서연 씨. 서연 씨.
네, 예진 씨.
What a creative way to incorporate Zoom into the skit. Amazing job. Now we'll shift gears to a presentation titled Itaewon Class, Racism and Homophobia by Kevin Park in the Elementary Heritage Korean class. Let's give a round of applause.
Hello, thank you for having me. So today my presentation looks at the Korean drama Itaewon Class. In particular, I'll be talking about how this Korean drama raises awareness of racism and homophobia in Korea. So Itaewon Class tells a narrative of Park Seo-hee, pictured on the left, our protagonist who seeks revenge against Chung Gu-won and his father, Chung Tae-hee, pictured on the right, and the restaurant business Changa. Park Seo-hee opens his own restaurant Donbon with the help of his 4 friends in Itaewon. Together, Donbon fights to take over Changa as Korea's most powerful and influential food franchise. Itaewon Class separates itself from many other Korean films in that it exposes social taboos that exist in South Korea, especially towards the LGBT community and people of color. So the next couple slides will be scenes of racism and transphobia in Itaewon Class. So here the bouncer says, people from Africa and the Middle East can't enter. I'm just following the rules. And then he asks Kim Tony, where are you from? And to which he says, I'm Korean. So in this scene, we see the club bouncer refuse entrance for Kim Tony, saying people from Africa and the Middle East can't enter. Though Kim Tony ethnically may be of African descent, he is indeed Korean. In fact, Kim Tony cannot even speak English and is fluent in Korean. Still, he is refused entrance because of his skin color. Pictured here is Ma Hyun-hee, the chef for Donbon. Who is later revealed to be a transgender woman. She is discriminated against as Jongga Group attempts to undermine Donbon using her gender history against her during a cooking competition. As homosexuality remains taboo in South Korea, Jongga Group had hoped this would turn the people against Donbon as they were getting more and more popular. And why it's important. Unfortunately, racism is still very prevalent in South Korea. Though racist attitudes are directed towards most foreigners, these attitudes are more extreme towards foreigners who have darker pigmentation, such as those of African descent. While there has been a decrease in racist attitudes and prejudice in South Korea as of today, it's still prevalent among older generation where the racist attitudes may be explained by a strong sense of nationality that comes from a long tradition of, quote, 1,000 years of pure ancestral bloodlines, common language, customs, and history. While same-sex activity is legal in South Korea. Same-sex marriage is still illegal. Moreover, while sexual orientation is a protected class, gender identity is not. And while people are able to receive gender-affirming care, South Korea's national health insurance does not cover it. And transgender people are also not allowed to serve in the Korean military. So while there exists prejudice against foreigners and members of the LGBTQ+ community, attitudes in Korea are slowly changing towards the better, especially with the younger generation where they're able to be better educated through social media and other platforms. Gay-themed entertainment and mass media have increased, as well as many public figures coming out in public. In 2014, the South Korean government also voted in favor of a United Nations resolution aimed at combating discrimination against LGBT people. Moreover, pride parades in South Korea are gaining more popularity every year, and more people are also participating. South Korea is also seeing more support for people of color and other minority groups in the country. As South Koreans are now consuming more media from around the world, they've become more aware of Black culture and other social justice issues. Thank you.
As Kevin explained, racism and homophobia are still prevalent in South Korea today, but it'll be interesting to see if Korea becomes more progressive in the future. Thank you, Kevin, for highlighting these problems for us. Let's lighten up the mood and take a 180. Our next act is a presentation called Summer Trip to Korea by Isaac Craig McCurdy, who's in the intermediate Korean class. Let's see what Isaac has prepared for us.
여러분 안녕하세요. 저는 고넬대학교 4학년 모 이사학입니다. 고넬에 오기 전에 저는 1년 동안의 중국 베이징에서 어깨비를 지냈고 중국어를 배웠는데요. 저는 거기서 한국 친구 몇 명을 만나서 고넬에서 한국어를 배우기로 했어요. 여기 사진에 있는 친구들은 정우민, 이화영하고 김외주인데요. 호민은 베이징에 있을 때 제 룸메이트였어요. 이제 곧 졸업할 건데요. 졸업한 다음에는 시간이 많이 있을 테니까 오래 못 만난 친구를 만나러 한국에 갔으면 해요. 처음에는 저는 인천에 갈 거예요. 국제공항이 인천에 있잖아요. 인천에서 가고 싶은 곳이 참 많은데 먼저 인천 쌍류 작전 기념관에 갈 거예요. 우리 아버지, 어머니하고 할아버지께서는 다 미국 공군이셨는데 제가 어렸을 때 아버지께서는 저한테 항상 더글러스 맥카터의 얘기를 해주셨어. 인천 쌍류 작전 기념관에 굉장히 가고 싶네요. 다음에는 저는 예쁜 월미도나 송도에서 점심을 먹고 싶어요. 오후에는 저는 자유공원의 더글러스 맥카트 동상을 보러 가고 싶고 다음에 짜장면 박물관에서 짜장면을 공부하고 먹고 싶어요. 야, 저는 짜장면이 진짜 굉장히 너무 좋아요. 다음에 저는 산 호텔에서 지낼 거예요. 두 번째 날은 일찍 일어나서 공원에서 운동한 다음에는 전초로 서울에 가서 중국에서 만난 착한 친구 이화영과 같이 교회에 갈 거예요. 저는 한국 교회를 꼭 가고 싶어요. 말은 다르지만 주님으로 하나가 되는 느낌이 있거든요. 교회 후에 우리는 같이 광화문의 식당에서 점심을 먹을 거예요. 오후에는 우리는 경복궁하고 창덕궁에 가서 한복을 입고 재미있는 사진을 찍을 거예요. 사진이 있으면, 아니요, 시간이 있으면 우리는 광화문에 있는 박물관에도 갈 거예요. 밤에는 우리는 어디 갈까요? 우린 철문 사람인데요. 이태원에 가잖아요. 이태원에서 우리는 유명한 탐밤 식당에서 저녁을 먹고 잣길을 걷고 외국 느낌을 즐길 거예요. 다음에는 우리는 클럽에서 한잔 하러 갈 거예요. 한 잔만 김 선생님 걱정하지 마세요. 밤에 저는 하숙집에서 자고 이화영은 자기 집에 들어갈 거예요. 저는 지금 학생이라서 졸업한 바로 다음에도 돈이 안 많아서 그 여행을 사게 해야 되잖아요. 괜찮은 것 같아요. 인천 호텔은 하룻밤에 47,500원 나오고 식비, 점심과 저녁에 짜장면 25,000원 나와요. 인천에서 서울에 가는 전철표는 9,000원만 나와요. 서울에서 한복 입대는 25,000원 나와요. 한복 입으면 경복궁과 창덕궁 입장표가 무료인데 우리는 갈 때 돈을 써야 되지 않아요. 서울 지하철 날표는 15,000원 나오고 한맘식당 저녁은 20,000원 나오고 하숙집은 진짜 12,500원 밖에 안 나와요. 클럽은 우린 너무 착한, 너무 멋있는 사람이라서 그냥 무료로 들어가도 괜찮아요. 세 번째 날은 뭐 할 건지 알고 싶죠? 저는 말 안 해줄 거예요. 그냥 같이 가요. 여러분 들어서 감사합니다. 한국 2202 수업 학생 저하고 같이 열심히 공부해서 고마워요. 김한귤 선생님, 그 1년 동안에 가르쳐서 너무 감사합니다.
I'm sure all of us could use a nice trip over the summer. Maybe we should all plan one giant trip to Korea together after the pandemic ends. Great job, Isaac. Our next KLP presentation is one prepared by Irene Kim, Alan Park, and Elena Wu in the Intermediate Heritage Korean class. They'll be explaining the differences between the daily lives of international Koreans and the daily lives of Korean American students. I'm curious to see the differences. Please give them a warm welcome.
Hi everyone, thank you guys for having me. My name is Elena or Uliana, and I'm from Korean 2210. And my favorite part about the class was that it was a super discussion-based classroom, and since we had a pretty small group, everyone got to talk all the time for all of our classes, and we also focused a lot on reading and writing, which were skills that I definitely needed to improve on.
Hello, my name is Irene Kim or Kim Min-tae, and I'm also a student from the course Korean 2210. Even though I enjoyed all of the activities in class, I especially like the class discussions that we have for the Korean drama Do Haeyoung or Another Miss So in English. Also, I enjoyed the weekly readings that we discussed as a class and the weekly compositions that we had to write focused on a wide range of subjects.
So for our final project, we basically did a survey project about the daily life differences between international Korean and Korean American students.
There are many differences in the culture between Korean American and international Korean students, such as family education, personal values, and the environment. Our group thought that the differences in culture would be reflected in the students' daily lives, leading us to focus on this particular topic of differences in daily life between international Koreans and Korean American students at Cornell.
For methods, we decided to go with Google Forms just so it'd be more accessible to as many students as possible. We ended up with a total of 28 different responses, 13 of them being from international Korean students, and then 15 of them being from Korean American students. And we use social media and within like Korean communities of Cornell University to collect their responses. And we had two different versions, one in English, which was given out to Korean Americans, one in Korean, which was given out to Korean internationals. And we had 7 questions each.
Our first question was, how many meals do you eat per day? If you look at the chart, 73.3% of the Korean American students replied that they eat 2 meals a day, while 53.8% of the international Korean students replied that they eat 3 meals a day. Our group concluded that the result was heavily influenced by culture since it is traditional to eat 3 meals a day in Korea.
And then for the next one, our question was, how many hours per day do you spend on your phone? And this one was pretty interesting because we didn't see many differences between the two groups that we surveyed. So we figured that it was probably because there's more generational differences between for phone usage between generations.
The next question was, do you shower in the morning or in the evening? 66.7% of Korean Americans replied that they prefer to shower in the morning, while 61.5% of the international Koreans replied that they prefer to shower both in the morning and at night. We speculated that because the international Koreans spend most of their day outside or at school, they tend to shower more often than the Korean Americans.
And then we also asked about how often they attended after school academies during high school. And as you can see, there were a couple differences. Koreans tended to go to after school academies more than Korean Americans. And we attributed that difference to the cultural differences between Koreans, where they focus more on academics and which would cause them to go to after school academies more often, while in America, a lot of families tend to focus on rounding out a resume and focusing on extracurricular activities.
In summary, while the international Koreans follow a single culture, the Korean Americans follow both the Korean and the American cultures, leading them to have a more diverse result. More specifically, we were led to the conclusion that the culture followed by the Korean American students depend on the culture followed by their parents and their family.
Thank you guys for having us. We definitely enjoyed this class, so if it is an option for you next semester, I completely recommend.
That was a very informative and insightful presentation. Thanks, guys. Now let's dive into more Korean culture and learn about Korean superstitions from J.T. Miller and Kemia Delaware, who are in the High Intermediate Korean class. Let's make some noise for them.
Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be giving a presentation about Korean superstitions. This is what we learned in like Korean 3302. So just going to be me and JT kind of going over Korean superstitions that we learned in class.
All right, first, let's talk about giving gifts. You shouldn't give shoes. In South Korea, one does not give shoes as a gift to your beloved one. It is believed that if they receive the shoes as a present, that means they will leave you or run away. Probably in those shoes they gave. Hopefully it's comfortable. Not to mention, you probably shouldn't give sharp objects as a gift either. Like nice cooking knives, not a good gift. It symbolizes that you're cutting ties with that person. Not a good idea.
So next we have fan death, which is, kind of like a pretty, I think, popular superstition. And it's believed that if you sleep with an electric fan in a closed room, like with no windows, or you kind of close your windows, and you could die. And so possible origins for this is most likely derived from a national newspaper in 1927 that warned readers that electric fans kind of circulate this stale air that causes the person to choke on carbon dioxide. And others also believe that it came from just the government trying to limit the use of electricity in the 1970s energy crisis. So just be aware, something to look out for. Next slide.
Going off of the chat, Isaac, I'm glad that your fan died and not you. Be careful. Going next, red ink. In Korea, writing names in red ink is a big no-no. 절대 안 돼요. In the past, red ink was used to indicate the deceased on the family registrar. So if writing someone's name in red ink is like wishing harm and death to that person. In America, many teachers use red ink to grade. If you're ever teaching in Korea, please do yourself and your students a favor and do not use red ink. Next slide.
All right, so now we have washing hair, and in Korea, students would not wash their hair before an exam in fear that they will be washing away all the knowledge that they got from studying. This also goes for certain foods like miyeokguk, which is like seaweed soup, and bananas. It's believed that since they're really slippery, that if you eat those before your exam, then you'll probably miss your test. So, you know, pro tip, study tip, if you want a little extra luck, don't do these things.
Mirrors and doors. While in America, breaking mirrors means bad luck. In Korea, mirrors are never put directly in front of a door since it will deflect good luck from entering. When I was in Korea, I was amazed by seeing mirrors everywhere I went, but luckily not in front of a door. That's probably why I had such a lucky time in Korea.
Whistling at night. This is a really popular one, honestly. And I think in Korea, whistling at night can summon spirits, ghosts, demons, or other unearthly creatures. So most commonly, another version of this superstition is that whistling at night can summon snakes. So if you have a fear of snakes, watch out, beware.
And that is all. So if you're ever in Korea, keep these things in mind. Also, if you're engaging with your Korean friends, maybe you might be sending them a message that you're not even aware of.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for that great presentation. With final season coming up, maybe we should all stop washing our hair to keep the knowledge in and do well on our finals. I can't believe we're already at our final presentation of the night. Time flies by so quickly when we're having fun, right? Last but not least is Suri Kim from the Advanced Korean class with a presentation called After Taking Advanced Korean. Let's give a round of applause.
Hi guys, I will be presenting about my experience in taking Advanced Korean 2. My name is Suri Kai. So I try to narrow down what we were doing this semester in one slide. First, we started reading different articles that were from actual Korean news websites. And then we went to do some class reading. We read a book that was called Kim Ji-young, born 1982, which was phenomenal in Korea and all over the world. We also did a documentary project, and we were able to pick a topic of our interest, and we were able to present it to the class. And lastly, we are doing e-portfolio, which is basically reflecting and going back to our earlier writings, and we are all noticing significant improvements from our writings we did in the past. So for first, we started off the semester with article readings. We read 8 articles in total, and they were from actual Korean news site, and they were very current Korean news. So for each article, what did we do? We first learned about the vocabs used in each articles. We then did a reading, and thanks to a website that was very elaborated on leaving comments and asking questions to each other. We did a collaborative annotations, as Professor Song says, and we were leaving comments and questions on parts we were interested or curious about. And then we did a class discussion based on the reading comments. Classmates were asking and responding to each other's comments and questions. We were really able to share our deep thoughts and knowledge about the topics. And lastly, we also did a reflection paper. So we did a reflection paper, and we wrote about our thoughts on each topic based on what we discussed in class. So because we did too much articles, and all of them were very enjoyable, I wanted to bring up 4 of my personal favorite readings. The first one was on digital prison. So this is on personal information of criminals that were being illegally shared with the public. So in Korea, the rights and privacy of both criminals and the affected are very protected. So as a result, the faces and personal information of criminals, even if those crimes were very well known across the country, are also very protected. So there were a group of people who decided to illegally share those information with the public in order to protect each other. So that was one of my most memorable reading. Second one we read was on Kwanjo. And this word is basically on individuals who are attention seeking. And in this sense specifically, they also seek attention in such a way that stirs the society and also disturbs other people. So we were reading an article about that. Another article we read was on Asian hate crime. So we learned about why is there an Asian hate crime and why is it so different from other hate crimes happening to different religions or different races. And then lastly, we talked about adoption problems. We mainly discussed a specific case of Jung In-'s death. She was a 4 months old little girl who was abused and killed by her step-parents. Also, beginning each class, we learned about 사자성어, which is idiomatic phrases that we very much enjoyed learning about. We also did a skit every class, and we were acting to incorporate these idiom into our little skit. I wanted to share one of my favorite idioms that we learned in class, and that was 박학다식. And I made an example, and I would like to read it for you. 한국어 수업에서 정치, 경제, 사회 등에 대해 많이 배워서 박학다식해졌습니다. So this translates into because we learned about politics, economics, and societies in Korean class, I became very knowledgeable. Next, we did a documentary project. So each group picked a topic of our interest, and we watched a documentary that we were able to further research, and then we were able to present it to the class. So me and my classmate Kyuin, we presented on Antarctic and ecological system. Two things we concentrated the most was why is Antarctica so important in Earth? And the second point was on global warming and pollution. My two other classmates, Una in the picture and Juno, they presented about comfort woman and how Japan's responses are very unjust and not right. We were recognizing what the current status of comfort women are and how we should improve and react. And lastly, we are currently finishing up. We just finished the book on Kim Ji-young, born in 1982. So I want to mention that Ji-young is one of the most common names in Korea. And the novel was written by a female author to reflect the reality of living as a woman in Korea. So to briefly go over, since childhood, Ji-young faced many discrimination just because she was a woman. As a mother of a young child, she started speaking as if she was someone else, defending her position to others who demanded womanly sacrifice from Ji-young. So these two are the covers. The right side gray picture is the cover of the actual book. It was so popular and recognized across the country that it became a movie as well. She is one of the most popular actress in Korea, and that's the poster of the movie version of this novel. So I try to narrow down some main points of the novel. The first one was social norms. So there were a lot of stereotypical social norms that caused stricter views toward women and their expectations. And then there were gender roles. Gender roles were also very strictly divided and expected to be followed by companies and elders. There was also unfair opportunities. being a woman, we're often disadvantaged in seeking fair opportunities as male. And lastly, there is sexual harassment. There isn't a very clear boundary in Korea of what is a sexual harassment and what is a accepted joke. So people easily cross the line, and it is a social problem that was mainly discussed in the novel. So here is a timeline of Kim Ji-young, the main character in the novel. We were starting with her childhood. We went to her school age and then college. She got married during work, but she soon had to retire, and she started as a full-time housewife when she started to behave a little oddly, behaving as if she was someone else and speaking to protect herself as if she was someone else. And that's when she spoke to the therapist, and that's where the book ends. So last thing we are currently working on right now is e-portfolio, and this is reviewing writings that we wrote earlier in the semester, and we are rewriting them with our mistakes and new grammars and vocabularies we learned, and all of us are noticing significant improvements, so we are all very happy to see and review how much we improved on. So I looked back into what we learned this semester. I found out that we read 8 news articles, we learned 492 words, new words, and we read 192 pages of an actual Korean novel. I also wanted to mention some class rules that I found were amazing. The first thing was Korean manner. So we were doing a lot of discussion. Discussion was a big part of our class, and they always happen in a peaceful exchange of opinions and never on aggressive debates I would have expected from a normal debate class. Another thing we did was we constantly used polite speech. I was the oldest person in class, but we were always using polite speech to each other, and this was great in showing respect and best treating each other. Lastly, we did participation. So participation points were great encouragement to engage more in the class, regardless of how silly I often felt in exchanging my thoughts. Everyone were accepting and welcoming all of my thoughts, and that was always encouraging for me to participate. So that's it. Thank you so much for having me, and I wanted to do a big shout out to our beloved Professor Song. Thank you.
Wow, looks like Suri and the rest of the class learned so much from taking advanced Korean. I hope all of you tonight also learned a lot. I know I did. After seeing all of these presentations, I hope that you are all inspired tonight by the work, the performances, and above all else, the language skills of the students in the KLP. I hope it's moved many of you to consider enrolling in Korean next semester and to learn more about Korean culture. Korean is by far one of the best classes I've taken at Cornell, and I'm so excited to be taking intermediate Korean next year. So please consider taking Korean and feel free to speak with me or some of the other members of the KLP program if you have any questions. I would also like to express much gratitude to our 2 KLP teachers, Son 선생님 and Kim 선생님. 선생님들 사랑해요. I would also like to thank the participating students, performers, and hardworking volunteers for this event. Caitlin Ye prepared the poster and the upcoming highlight video of tonight's event, while Jasmine Ni made and controlled the slides and I emceed. Let's give them a round of applause. Lastly, please show a lot of love to the KLP Facebook page by liking the page. And with that, that sums up our night. Best of luck to all the 학생들 with all of your final exams. Be sure to look out for all the KLP events that will be held in the future, and please consider taking Korean next semester. 정말 감사합니다. Thank you everyone, and have a good night.